बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। ऑनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या ऑनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही
Have you
डेडिकेटेड
locked the door?
देखभाल
Unlock
और
the
केयर
door.
मिलेगी। ऑनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195।
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग मतलब से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार
वनकम,
नमस्कार
खुशामदी,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
सत श्री अकाल,
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय जनेन्द्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते याली मदद
मौला अली बदर बोलते सारे फीजिए मतलब नीसा बोला बदजन हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैं सिर्फ फालतू बाबा
and of course myself Aldurani लेकर आपके लिए एक और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बन जानी।
To the Banjana, quickly what's happening on the roads? आपके लिए रास्ते का हाल टोटल सस्ते में।
It's time for the Bandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Alright, Bajan, the entire Bay Area, north, south, east, west, Bajan. I'll tell you only one incident to report today because an accident reported on 280 southbound at the 11th Street in San Jose, Bajan, is affecting traffic over there. Otherwise, all the other freeways are looking smooth and moving around. It's at least not like congested like what was yesterday. And yes, we've had the spell of rain, and thanks for the rain, actually, the drought-stricken California is now quenched, and so has already put out some of the fires which is across California. So that's one of the positives of the particular rain right now. And yes, temperature-wise, if you look at it, it's going to be cold. Yeah, winter's coming in. It's not too cold as what we'd expect last year. It's somewhere in the mid-60s. And yeah, probably, a little bit of warm clothing is advised because also you should know that what's happening is overall the hospital admissions have actually increased. But luckily, it's not for COVID purposes. It's some other illnesses now, and so watch out for that. Probably, make sure you are staying healthy, eating healthy, and exercising for sure, Balajan. Because what happened was COVID time. We realized, Fatmani, we all can get healthy, but now COVID is opening up. We're going to get back to our grind. Anyway, Bajan, that's all going to come up right now. We'll talk about that. But Arbi ke liye, let's go quickly take a look at what's happening with the headlines for our bandhus. Fatwani, how are you doing with the headlines for our bandhus? Are we ready for it?
Yes.
Go ahead, take it away.
Well, the thousands of hours of video of the deadly assaults on the U.S. Capitol by Donald Trump supporters have overwhelmed prosecutors and defense lawyers handling the hundreds of criminal cases and are delaying trials for some defendants. The Jan 6th attack, an attempt to reverse President Joe Biden's November 2020 election win, produced an enormous amount of video from security cameras around the Capitol, worn by police officers under assault and filmed by the rioters themselves, many of whom posted their exploits to social media for the world to see. As the Justice Department prosecutes more than 650 people on the charges, ranging from trespassing to assaulting police, it is struggling to share the sheer volume of evidence with defendants and their attorneys. President Joe Biden has dealt a blow to Donald Trump's attempt to withhold documents sought by lawmakers investigating the deadly Jan 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol and ordered the latest batch of documents be handed over to Congress. He has determined that an assertion of executive privilege is not in the best interest of the United States and therefore is not justified. Biden's counsel, Dana Remus, wrote in an October 25th letter to the National Archives and Records Administration. Taylor Budowick, the spokesperson for Trump, did not immediately respond to reporters for a comment. And let's tell you that the U.S. Federal Drug Administration is going to be voting on whether to recommend and authorize the Pfizer Inc. and BioNTech COVID-19 vaccines for children ages 5 to 11. The authorization for that age group would be an important regulatory step towards reaching about 28 million children for inoculation, most of them who are back in school for in-person learning. In other news from the Capitol, Bunjan, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has told House Democrats on Tuesday that negotiators have completed 90% of a massive social spending bill that is at the heart of President Joe Biden's agenda, Democratic Representative Henry Culler has said. And of course, for those of you who are following the weather and the storms that are coming in, heavy rains have soaked the densely populated U.S. Northeast on Tuesday in the first of two storms expected before Halloween weekend, flooding roadways, triggering traffic accidents, and threatening dangerous winds and storm surges. Drenching overnight rains from Washington to New York City remained strong throughout the morning, and commuters in New Jersey reported vehicle crashes on roadways resembling rivers, weather watchers have said. Now heading northeast towards eastern Massachusetts, the storm was expected to blast the coast overnight with 60 miles per hour winds and 3-foot storm surges, said meteorologist Bob Oravich of the Weather Prediction Center at the National Weather Service in College Park in Maryland. Yesterday, some dreadful news broke. Panajan, 2 people were killed and 4 others were injured, including a police officer, in a shooting that happened at a shopping center in Boise, Idaho, that ended up with the lone suspect taken into custody, authorities said. Official details of the bloodshed were still sketchy, but Boise Police Chief Ryan Lee told reporters at a briefing that police responded to the reports of a shooting at the Boise Town Square Mall shortly before 2 p.m. local time. Officers arriving on the scene encountered an individual matching the suspect's description, leading to an exchange of gunfire with the assailant that led one officer to be injured and also the shooter to be arrested. And Biden is imposing new international travel mandates. Punajan, there's going to be some, he signed an order imposing new vaccine requirements for most foreign national travelers and lifting several travel restrictions on China, India, and much of Europe effective November 8th, the White House has said. In local news, a pair of earthquakes rattled California's central coast, Punajan. A magnitude 4.7 quake hit at 4:42 p.m., centered about 11 miles northwest of San Simeon, according to the USGS, and at 4:49 p.m., a 3.6 quake magnitude quake occurred in the same lightly populated area. There were no immediate reports of damage or injury. And over 12,000 homes are still without power in the Bay Area. More than 12,600 PG&E customers remained without power in the Bay Area as of Tuesday morning as a result of this weekend's major storm that blew through the region, a utility spokesman said. About 646,000 customers had outages at some point since the atmospheric river came to the Bay Area on Sunday, but crews have been making progress in restoring power, bringing the lights back on for about 12,000 more customers since 9 p.m. on Monday, PG&E spokesperson Jason King has said. And in an exclusive that is being covered by NBC Bay Area, Panajan, prosecutors Brooke Jenkins and Don Dubon have told the NBC investigative unit that they have quit their jobs at the San Francisco District Attorney's Office and joined the effort to recall their former boss, District Attorney Chesa Boudin. They are among at least 51 lawyers at the San Francisco District Attorney's Office who have either left or have been fired since Boudin took office in January 2020, according to documents obtained by the investigative unit. That's about a third of the department's attorneys are now gone. Chesa has a radical approach that involves not charging crime in the first place and simply releasing individuals without rehabilitation and putting them in positions where they're simply more likely to re-offend, Jenkins said. Being an African American and Latino woman, I would wholeheartedly agree that the criminal justice system needs a lot of work, but when you're a district attorney, your job is to have balance is what Brooke Jenkins, former San Francisco prosecutor, has said with regard to District Attorney Chesa Boudin. Altavo, should we go into the world news headlines, or do you have a Gani Kakira for us?
Sure, just jump into the world news headlines, please. Go ahead.
Well, remember yesterday we were talking about the coups that are happening all over the place? In different parts of the world where the military is taking over and overthrowing the current government. UN Chief Antonio Guterres assailed what he called an epidemic of coup d'etats on Tuesday and urged the Security Council to act to effectively deter them as the 15-member body prepared to discuss the military takeover in Sudan. The Sudanese people have shown very clearly their intense desire for reform and democracy, the Secretary General told reporters as he again condemned the Sudanese army's seizure of power on Monday and urged all parties to exercise maximum restraint. Sudan's top general Abdel Fattah al-Burhan on Tuesday defended the military takeover, saying he had ousted the government of Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok to avoid a civil war. But of course, there is a lot of civil unrest right now because there are protests going on as to why the military took over at this point. The United Nations is also warning that the world is set for a 2.7 degree rise on today's emission pledges. Current commitments to cut greenhouse gas emissions put the planet on track for an average 2.7 degrees Celsius temperature rise this century, a United Nations report said on Tuesday in another stark warning ahead of crunch climate talks.
But the guy the country which actually is the biggest emitter was not there in the meeting, right?
That's the United States.
No.
Then?
China,
yeah. Oh, really? They're the biggest?
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Well, governments are going to be in the spotlight at the COP26 conference next week to meet a deadline of this year to commit to more ambitious cut pledges in what could be the last chance to put the world on track to limiting warming to below 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels and ideally 1.5 degrees centigrade. So that's something else that is being discussed. And of course, President Joe Biden has joined Southeast Asian leaders in rebuking Myanmar's junta on Tuesday as a regional summit opened without a representative from the country following its top general's exclusion for ignoring peace proposals. The ASEAN, which is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, had said that it would accept a non-political figure from Myanmar at the virtual meeting, but the junta on Monday rejected that, saying it would only agree to its leader or a prime minister attending. China is now demanding faster and more accessible COVID-19 testing services in its latest effort to reinforce a zero-tolerance policy against the virus, even when cities have already scrambled to test millions in just a few days amid outbreaks. Frequent testing and sometimes mass testing is standard practice in China's containment of the domestically transmitted outbreaks in the past year, but health authorities say testing services remain unsatisfactory in parts of China amid flare-ups. The United States is announcing an international crackdown on the darknet opioid trafficking. It's called the darknet and has led to about 150 arrests in the United States and Europe and the seizure of drugs, cash and guns, US and European authorities are saying. And the Japanese princess Mako, the emperor's niece, married her college sweetheart on Tuesday, giving up her royal title and saying she was determined to build a happy life with her irreplaceable husband after a tumultuous engagement. So she gave up all her riches to be with the man she loved.
You didn't say where she's going to come. She's going to come to New York.
Oh, really?
Very all the royals left and come out New York, right?
Yeah, everybody comes here. Well, and in the latest scoop, Manijan from Bollywood, let us tell you that Katrina Kaif and Vicky Kaushal are going to be getting married.
Yay!
Yeah, said that she would look good with Vicky Kaushal on an episode of Coffee with Karan. The actor pretended to faint when told of her statement. Little did they or we know that this will result in a full-blown relationship that will culminate in a lifelong commitment. But the hearts work in mysterious ways, and the two are now going to be getting married. They had a secret Roka ceremony and got engaged on August 18th. And now sources have revealed that they're ready to take their relationship to the next level. They're going to tie the knot sooner than you think. And she's going to be wearing Sabyasachi for her wedding outfit. And in the
So no longer we use saris, we only use sabyasachi, huh?
I think so. Former Attorney General of India Mukul Rohatgi on Tuesday appeared for Aryan Khan in drugs on cruise case and made a strong plea for his bail in the Bombay High Court. The High Court heard Rohatgi's arguments for bail for Aryan Khan and adjourned the hearing for tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. But looks like there is no end in sight. And they're still wondering as to what is going to be happening. Mumbai NCB has now summoned somebody called Prabhakar Sale, a witness in the drugs on cruise case, for questioning tomorrow. More on all these stories you will find on mediamahima.com. That's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Till then, have yourselves a terrific Tuesday.
परेशान फ्रस्ट्रेशन की तू है दुखा तेरी समस्या का नो समाधान तू दुखी है तू दुखी है तू है दुखी आत्मा श्रीमान सर पर टेंशन का टाइम बाउंस रहना है तेरा काम तेरी लाइफ तेरी लाइफ एक वेबसाइट का
Bandajan, this is your darling Faltu Rani, and let me tell you, Bandajani, that all these beautiful tracks that you're listening to right now are special